I actually love seeing people progress and become better. So that's what my passion is.
Welcome to the next episode of My Posing Coach podcast. My name's Amy Fox, and today I'm joined by one of my online clients and friends, Sophia Hayes. Sophia is an IFBB Pro League bikini athlete who has recently, I think it's recent, it's the most recent shows. She took out the New South Wales State Junior Champion for the Bikini Division. Sophia, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good.
We were talking off air just a little while ago about, a multitude of things, and I've got all the videos up on the TV screen at the moment, and you were saying how long ago all of those workout videos seem to look. So you're going to have to do a whole bunch of new ones, I think.
I know. I keep forgetting to train. I don't always
to record the training sessions. She's not you're not forgetting to train though.
Because I always train by myself. I never train with anyone. And
I thought you trained with Connor sometimes.
We do our own training sessions, but we're at the gym together. But he's also he's prepping and all that, and he's busy, and I don't want to interrupt him.
Yeah, I know what it's like, and that's probably a good topic to talk about. So Connor's your partner, and I actually met Connor quite a while ago now because he was coming to me for posing, and he was one of Steve Baldow's clients, and that's how I met you. Yeah. So, going back a fair while now, and I remember getting a message from Connor just via Instagram saying, hey, can you look after my girlfriend Sophia? She's thinking about doing it. He was really good. I get a few from the guys like that, like they're trying to find a coach for their partner. Yeah. Now, I don't know whether or not it's a selfish thing because they want you to look better or they think if she competes, then I can keep competing, because you know how some girls don't like it?
Yeah, I know a few people like that.
Yeah.
And it really gets in the way of their relationship.
Doesn't it?
If you do this, it's so time consuming, and if your partner doesn't do it, you're really seeing each other, and that bit isn't there.
Yeah, it does put a strain on things. Like a lot of people that come in to see me for posing, they'll say, I have to be quick. I have to be out of here at this time because I've got to try and get my training session in and get home so my other half doesn't get cranky because I'm at the gym all the time.
Yeah, definitely. We always train together. We always train at the same time. Our rest days are the same. I've shaped my routine and schedules to his schedules because he's prepping. He's the one who's in focus now, and it's all about him. And so I'm there when he's there, and so we can make the most of the little time we have together. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. And I know that last time when you competed, Connor took a step back as well. Yeah. So obviously you guys were going to the gym together at the same time you were doing your program, and he was more doing his off-season stuff. Yeah. Tell me what was the thing that made you want to compete? Was it Connor's influence, or how did it all start for you?
I think I've wanted to do it for a long time, but I never really knew how to get into it, get my foot in the door, until I met Connor, and because he competes as well, and that he pushed me a little bit more as well. And it was a really big step. I never thought I was going to do it. I thought I was just going to want to do it forever. Yeah. And because I've wanted to do it since I started weight training when I was 16, 17. And
tell everyone, I know the answer to these questions because you're my client, but tell everyone, how old are you now?
I'm 22 now.
22. Yeah. So for the IFBB Pro League, the juniors is 23 and under. So just so everyone knows. So you did the junior category, and then you stepped into the novice category.
Yes, and this year will be my last year of juniors.
Yeah, which is good. So you've got to give it a good crack.
Exactly,
but you're going back to actually defend your title next time.
Yes.
So I'd like you to win again. That's so the ideal scenario. And I know that we had a chat in the very beginning, sort of saying, if you're going to put all of this time, money, effort, energy into your prep, go in it to win it. Yeah, right? Obviously, you can't decide what's going to happen on the day with the judges and what they choose, but the mentality has to be go in it to win it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It has to be. And everyone's like, you just got to take whatever you get and don't expect to win, because then you'll be let down, and it's just you always expect to win.
Yeah.
You know, you put in that hard work and you think you look awesome, and like, or like when you're there, you look at the other girls and you can't help but like measure up yourself against them.
Did you find yourself doing that during the prep though? Like we didn't really talk about this a lot like during the prep because, you know, I was trying to keep you on track, but did you find yourself looking at other social media platforms with other girls sort of checking in and posting their progress? Like did that?
I think Connor told me to stay away from that. He's like, just don't look at, because I follow the IFBB page, and he's like, just don't look at it because you just add more stress on. And like I follow all the Olympia girls.
Yes.
And that's like I followed them throughout and use them as motivation.
Did you find it motivating or off-putting, like intimidating?
I found it really motivating.
That's good.
Because they're always so positive about everything and the whole experience. And yeah, but I also found myself trying to compare myself to them, and I'm like, stop it.
Yeah.
Because it just adds so much stress. I'm like, why don't my glutes look like that? Why doesn't this look like that?
That's it.
Like, what have I done wrong? And I was like, they've done maybe 30 plus shows and this is my first.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like you just have to put it into perspective, don't you? And I have a lot of the girls, they say the same thing, like, you know, I'm not seeing the progress that I'm expecting, but in reality, like you girls have been training for, you know, properly for, I don't know, 6 months, would you say? Like maybe not even.
Hardly that.
Hardly even that.
For
and
the
the Olympia girls, they've, like you said, they've done like 30 plus shows, and a lot of them, if you have a look at their physiques 10 years prior, they sure as shit didn't look like that.
No, completely
so it's taken
different.
a long time. Yeah, that's it. That's
definitely.
it. One of my friends at the gym, actually, she posted a 4-year progression, and she was saying the same thing, like the girls are getting very stressed out and they're feeling very under the pump and under the pressure to look a certain way, but they failed to realise that the progression that they see in these other girls that they're admiring are years in the making.
Definitely.
Day in, day out dieting, like a proper off-season, not an off-season that consists of, you know, not really training that much, eating shit.
Yeah, their off-season's just as intense as their prep.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then also they don't have, like their work is competing.
Yes.
Like that's their life. That's their job. They can train whenever they want. They eat whenever they want. They have sponsorships, all this stuff that a lot of all the amateurs.
Us
yeah,
normal people don't have the luxury of having time off work and things like that. So, and you worked throughout your prep, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I took like 4 days off in the last week before. So
which is nothing really in the overall scheme of things.
Nothing, yeah. But it just helps me like make sure that I eat my meals on time and I do the exercise that I need and I can sleep a little bit more. And it helped with the stress a bit.
Yeah, because and that's the thing, like, because when you're working a full-time job and then trying to train, like how many hours did we end up doing with you? Was it 2.5 or 3 towards the end? I'm trying to remember
cardio.
No, just your weight training plus your cardio.
Oh, it was a lot. I was doing an hour in the morning of cardio.
Yeah.
And then I was doing like, I think the weight sessions
After
were like
work?
45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, after work. And then I was doing like the last week, I think I was doing like 40 minutes of cardio.
And tell everyone what you're doing for work.
I'm early childhood teacher.
And how old are the kids?
I'm in the nursery room now, so the babies.
Yeah, so that's hard.
So 0
you have
to
to be
2.
on the ball.
It's so stressful and tiring because it's just constant. Like someone needs to go to sleep, someone needs a bottle, someone needs a nappy change. It's just constant.
Yeah.
Like, there's no break. You forget to go to the toilet. You forget to drink water. Like it's so hard.
That's it. That's it. So you did pretty well. Like, and did any of the foods that you were eating sort of interfere with what the kids, you know, what you're allowed to take into?
Yeah,
to
definitely.
see the kids?
Like it's nut free and egg free.
Yeah.
So I had to drink the egg whites in the morning.
Yeah.
And have the nuts like in my car downstairs and run downstairs and then wash my hands.
Wash your hands, wash your mouth, wash everything.
Just wash the whole body. Like it's scary as well because you're like, I don't want to like cause the child to have an anaphylactic shock.
Yeah, because I'm in prep mode. Yeah.
Like, how selfish.
Yeah. Look, Amy said I need to eat this, so therefore I need to eat it. Yeah, it's serious. So you have to like take it seriously, but at the same time, like I said before, you're investing so much time and money into this prep that you need to follow things to a T as well.
Yeah, definitely. And you can tell at the end result if you didn't do these certain things that you needed to do. It all shows in the end.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Absolutely. And what did you find, like, before you started prep with me? Like, did you hear any horror stories and things from other girls, or like rumours getting around that, prep's like this, and then it turned out to be either 100 times worse or nothing like it?
Yeah. There's a lot out there. There's so many girls who've done like one competition and post videos and say it's like this and this, when they had not the best coach, or they didn't do it properly, or they were just really stressed, or just things happened to them that only would happen to them.
Yeah.
And it's like it's different for every single person. But I heard a lot of stories about the reverse diet part. And
so what sort of stories did you hear about the reverse diets? Like,
I've heard about people just stacking on weight afterwards, and they're like, you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way. And then when I did the reverse part, it was nothing like I've heard from anyone. Like, it was the complete opposite.
But do you think because you'd heard all those horror stories, you'd put things in place, to stop that from happening? Like, it kind of scared you into doing the right thing post-comp?
Definitely. I know a lot of people will have like a binge that night. Yeah. And they'd just eat junk food. And I just didn't do that. I was too scared to. I was like, what if I stack on weight? But then also following the Olympia girls, they have a lot of in-depth, detailed videos about their stories and what they do. And I was following Angelica, and I watched her reverse diet stories before I did mine. And she said to just give yourself 1 or 2 days a week where you have one meal.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Make it a clean meal. Have like a burger. Don't stuff your face with lollies and ice cream. And I stayed away from dairy. I stayed away from like refined
dairy's
sugars.
A big one, isn't it?
And I still like
it does make you feel terrible when you've not had it for so long. Like 16 weeks was our prep, and then you touch dairy and you really notice how poorly it can make you feel.
Definitely. Like, since I started the prep and have gone off dairy, like I haven't been having it. Like, even after now, I haven't been having it much at all.
So before you started, like, were you having milky coffees and things like that?
Yeah, like I was having milk in my coffees, and I was I have a big weakness for ice cream.
Oh, really? Yeah. You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, massive weakness for ice cream. So
but you stayed away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
away
good.
From it. Like, I'll choose sorbet, but I've also found myself like leaning away from all that junk food.
Yeah.
Anyway, just making conscious efforts to eat good food.
Yeah.
And like, I'll have chocolate here and there, but
it's not a binge.
No, it's not a binge. It's like a little bit. Mm-hmm. And now I'm having like almond milk in my coffee, or a black coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually not that bad.
No, I like it.
Yeah.
I actually really like it.
You actually like learn to enjoy the flavours of plainer types of foods as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I know I had ice cream once. No, it was like a few weeks after, and I just was gunky and like holding water, and I just felt so gross, and I was like, never again.
Never again. Yeah, it's like the people that drink and then say never again.
Yeah.
But you actually stuck to it, which is impressive.
Yeah, which is good.
So tell me what you ate after you got off stage last show. So you won your Bikini Division for the juniors.
Yeah.
What was the first thing you ate after you stepped off stage?
Well, I had a jar of peanut butter in the car. and
honey. It just sounds so gross as well. Like, why would you crave that? But weird things happen
It's
after
definitely
shows.
the salt, I think.
Is that for you? Yeah.
Yeah, the salt cravings. And then when I got home, we had pizza, but it was like Dad ordered us like some really healthy pizza.
Because you said your dad's right into fitness, like he's a bit of a fitness freak.
Yeah, he's like his whole life has been right into it. He's done Ironmans, like the triathlons and all that stuff.
Did you get into that?
Yeah, I did that for a while when I was younger.
Yeah, that's how I started actually. I started with the triathlons, but decided that I hated swimming, and then I decided I hated running, and then I wondered why the hell I was doing it.
Yeah, it's so full on. Like, it's 3 different types of cardio. Yeah, all in one.
But it's the same kind of discipline in terms of the time that you need to commit to your training.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you might be doing like 3 hours of exercise a day, and it's sort of the same as bodybuilding prep.
It's a demand as well, and also you have to stay lean because the heavier you are, the slower you are.
Yes. Yeah. But apparently you float better. So you don't need to wear a wetsuit for the swim. The more body fat you've got, the more you float.
Exactly.
The more muscle you've got, the more you sink.
Exactly. Just skinny and fat.
Yeah, that's it. Again, getting back to the horror stories about the prep, like you've heard about the binge eating afterwards and that sort of bothered you. Was there anything else that sort of, you thought to yourself, I really want to do this and I want to do it the right way? Or
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of girls and guys being really unhealthy and just not eating enough of the right foods or eating too little. Like they'll get down to a low calorie count but that will be a fair way away from comp day.
Yeah.
And then they'll just be so depleted and then they have the worst rebound effects as well. And they like put their salt down. And I know there's all these stories about and different ways of doing it, like carb loading, salt loading, water loading, and all this stuff. And it's so confusing as well.
It's definitely confusing. And one thing that I actually enjoy doing as a coach, working with first-time athletes, is like getting their input as well. So I remember you sort of like, I think we did a mock month? A month of a mock trial run. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Well, we sort of tried different foods and you took some photos and you sort of said, I'm looking a little bit bloated today, or we ate this food and I actually looked a little bit leaner, so we'd make notes. And I know
there was the asparagus.
Yeah, tell me about that. Yeah. Did that bloat you? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was bloat, and then it was just
farty
bum. It wasn't fun. Yeah. It just wasn't fun. And I was like,
you've got to make notes of these things.
There's so many other greens to eat. Why do I have to eat this?
So we tested out that because asparagus is actually one of the really, really popular greens to have whilst you're probably about a month out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do that to everyone, but some people report like really smelly pee from asparagus.
Yeah.
And they just can't deal with it.
I know.
So for you got bloated mainly, and bloating obviously is a bad thing when you're prepping. So I couldn't give you that the week out of the show because like bloating in bikini, that's not a good look.
No, you have to definitely figure out the foods that bloat you before you compete.
So, and what did we decide on? Like, tell everyone what we decided on for the last for the last week. Like, do you remember the greens that you ate?
I know I was eating like beans and Brussels sprouts, I think. And
it's funny because they're high in sulfur.
Yeah.
And normally Brussels sprouts will bloat girls.
Yeah. Well, I was having them like half raw, like not fully cooking them.
Yeah.
So I felt like that maybe made a difference.
Yeah, it does, like the way you cook things as well, but it's just interesting to, trial these different foods. Like unless you go and get, proper testing done and to see how it affects your body, it's really just trial and error, and you have to sort of be honest with your coach and let them know how things make you look.
Yeah, you definitely have to be honest. Like I know some people are like, I don't want to be annoying. Or and I'm like, no. You got to tell them.
You got to be annoying.
It's all about what you look like as well. Like you don't want to say.
You know what? It's not annoying though. It's more so. It can get tiring, but it's tiring for the athlete. It's tiring for the coach to try and work out these things. But it's so worth it that if you can get it right and spend the time doing that, come comp day, everyone's happy and it's so much less stressful, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it is.
Do you remember what you ate on comp day?
I think I was about 58, which is crazy because I started my prep at 70 kilos.
Yeah, exactly. And you got down to 58. Yeah. And we were speaking off air just before saying that Michael Booner, the head judge for IFBB Pro League, gave you your feedback. Yeah. And yes, you won your category and I thought well-deserved as well. However, his feedback was leaner again.
Yes, I know. I knew what he was going to say before he gave it to me.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So at least you've got an idea of, what a bikini athlete needs to look like, because some people get the biggest shock of their life when they get the feedback back.
Yeah.
But I find it's quite nice when you sort of have an idea in your head, and yours was the same. You were really proud of going from 70 kilos down to 58 kilos for the comp.
Yeah.
However, you thought, right, I need to be leaner for next time, which means, being more sensible in my off season to get there.
Being lighter, yeah.
Yep. And just having the head judge actually confirm what you already knew, perfect.
Exactly.
Makes you a good competitor.
Yeah. And I think being really open to myself about what I need to fix. Well, not fix, but work on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also following all the Olympia girls and making sure that I'm really well informed about all that stuff and like listening to all their videos and making sure that I was only following good information.
Yeah.
Like not like amateur bikini competitors who think they know everything, like actual like
compare yourself against the best in the world and you can't go wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about as well, like a few more horror stories and things. Like you competed as a natural athlete.
Yeah.
You won your division in the pro league, and I was really proud of you that you did do it naturally at your age as well, because there's so many girls that feel like they have to, you know, take this PED, like performance enhancing drug, and take things to make them look better. Like, how do you feel about being natural? Like, how did you feel?
I felt really good because I know there was a few women there who had been competing for a few years or had done like 8 shows that year, and like I placed above them.
Yes.
Especially in the novice as well. And you can kind of tell who's taking stuff because you're like, she's crazy lean. Like, and females, it's really hard for females to get super lean, especially around the glutes and hammies.
Yeah. And I've coached a lot of the natural girls as well. And to be honest, it's not that they can't achieve it. It just takes so much longer.
Yeah, it definitely does. You have to do a longer prep and or stay at a lighter weight as well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like,
did you find that there was a lot of pressure to, you know, use different things? Like, did you find it hard to stay natural and stay true to yourself? Like, what was sort of running through your head, or were you tempted at any time?
I think, like, you think about it here and there, but it's just not worth it. Like, there's some girls that they just want to win and they'll do anything to win. But, like, I also want kids and I want a family and I'm really young and I don't want to mess up my hormones.
Yes.
Like, it's not worth playing with the hormones because there's so many people that can't have kids.
That's right.
And then you go and do it voluntarily.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it.
And like speaking as your coach as well, like I'd feel very uncomfortable prescribing things like that to a 22-year-old first-time competitor that's, you know, barely been into the gym for very long and just feeling that responsibility of, you know, looking after your health and taking all of that sort of stuff on board. And also I'm not a doctor. Exactly. And half of the coaches out there, they're not doctors, so they don't really know the drug side of things as good as they should. Yes, it is part of the sport, but it doesn't have to be part of your journey and the way that you go about competing.
Yeah. So,
no, you did a really good job. And it just goes to show you did IFBB Pro League, which everyone says can't be done, and you won your division.
Yeah.
Naturally.
And I'm determined to keep going natural and just put the hard work in.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if you can, you know, lose 12 kilos in the space of 16 weeks and you've still got a lot left in the tank, Sophia, like there's a lot of things that we could have done last time, but, you know, it's about stepping forward slowly and not just jumping into things. Like, you've got a lot of potential, so, no need.
I know.
No need.
Yeah, there's a lot that we can do, and it's just each comp's just like a new stage, and you think about the last comp and you just fix the things that you needed to do, or you work on the parts of the body that need bringing up or leaning out in these parts. And I mean, you could do it quickly with drugs, but what's the point?
Well, the thing is, if you start taking them too early as well, you kind of hit a glass ceiling and you can't go any further because you've been reliant on them. Yeah. So in some ways, taking them early on can put you into like bad habits. Yeah. Like you think that you can get away with not following the diet 100%.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And, you know, little things like that. So you want to be,
you
know, true to yourself in that sense.
Definitely. I know a lot of, quite a few like guys and girls who do take performance enhancing drugs, and you just got to do it the right way. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing it, I guess, if you're going to do it the right way and you're doing it and you're getting blood tests and you're making sure you're healthy and you're not taking ridiculous amounts and mixing things together and like going natural for as long as you can and following a diet and lifting heavy and growing as much as you can naturally before you start thinking about taking that stuff. Because a lot of people will just start taking it before they've even put that hard work in.
Yeah.
And like you got to do
possibly
that
they don't realise what hard work involves either, because you think you're training hard until you kind of do a prep and then you're like, oh,
yeah,
okay, this is another level.
Yes, this prep definitely shocked me.
Yeah. It's hard. Like what sort of things during the prep, because you and I did your prep online.
Yeah.
So, and I want you to be really open and honest with all the listeners and tell them, like, what are the negatives or the things that you found really hard about online prep, and what were the good things about online prep?
Yeah. It was, I guess, it would have been like, some people feel like it's better to be there face to face so then you can have a look at them properly. And I know the photos can sometimes be deceiving. And then there's like sometimes there's a delay in messages, or you're busy when I need something like right now.
Yeah, that's it.
And then, but I found it really good with you because like we talked regularly and then had phone calls and had the photos. And I was also lucky to have Connor as well, because he helped me a lot because he's done it all already. And he'll be like, oh, just do this or just wait for Amy, or, you know.
Yeah, it's so nice when you've got, as a coach, an athlete with a really good support network. And we spoke before about, you know, some partners aren't very supportive. So you were actually one of the very lucky ones where, you know, you've got your dad and he's right into health and fitness and he understands the, you know, the pressures of having to make a training session and you can't skip it and you have to eat a certain way.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're surrounded by as well Connor. You've got Connor there who's been through it himself. So he's able to share his experiences and he knows what you're going through.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like with some people, if they don't have a partner who's into it, they don't understand, then if you're like, oh, I really can't eat this or this last bit, they're going to be like, oh, don't worry about it, it's not that bad. But with Connor was like, you need to eat that. Yeah. That's like 10 calories. Or you need to drink that water. Everything's there for a reason. You need to do everything.
Yeah.
And
so it actually made my job a little bit easier actually, because, and you know, I don't think I told you, but Connor would message me and say, hey, what do you think about this and what do you think about that? And I'd be like, what's she doing? Tell me everything.
Yeah, it was really good. And there's a lot of like I've watched documentaries like the Iron movies and all that, and they've always talk about how if you like don't expect things from people who are outside of the bodybuilding, because it's really hard to understand. People are like, oh, you're so obsessed, or why do you need to do that all the time, or you know, it's like the only people who are going to understand is the people who compete. Yeah. And the people who are in it and the coaches. Yeah. And like I'm really lucky as well with the family and the support network. Definitely.
And in terms of online prep, like what advice would you give people that were going into this completely green? Like what would be the first thing that you'd say to them to kind of prepare them?
Definitely to get a coach. And to get a posing coach, and it's a bonus if it's 2 in 1.
Oh yeah, like we did the posing too. Actually, let's talk about that. So the first time that you came in for posing, you were terrified. I thought.
Was so nervous. I was like, "What do I do?" And I was like, I don't know.
What the girls tend to get. I think we started in heels, and then I told you to kick them off. Yeah. And then it was
just so nerve-wracking, and I didn't know what to do, and it was so awkward, and I was like.
And it's weird because I'm looking at your body and you didn't know me. And
and I'm like sticking my butt out at you. Yeah. And I'm just like
it is weird. Like when you think about it, it is quite weird. Yeah. And funnily enough, the girls actually get more embarrassed for their first session than the boys do. So because I have to say to people, look, do you mind if you take your shirt off and take your pants off so I can see your legs? And the girls are kind of thinking, I don't really feel like I'm in very good shape at the moment. I really don't want to be posing in my bikini bottoms. Yeah. And the boys, they don't care. They just straight off. And I'm just thinking, I think so. Like the pants come off and I'm thinking they could have at least bought nice looking jocks.
Yeah, they have like old
The jocks are so old. Boys, buy some decent posing jocks or posing trunks or something. Definitely. I'm sick of seeing your skanky jocks. Yuck.
Yeah, it's just not nice. Especially for everyone else in the the area.
Yeah, that's it. It's in a gym.
Because Connor gets down to his undies in the gym
They
too.
all do.
And there's like in a gym full of people.
Yeah.
He'll just take his pants off, start posing.
Yeah.
It's like, at least you have nice undies on.
Yeah. No, that's my biggest advice to all the boys out there. Like, just make sure that they don't have holes in them. And but our first session I actually thought went really well. Yeah. And I have to say, like, the way that you move and the way that you were holding yourself, you've actually got like a natural ability for the posing, because it can be quite tough.
Yes, it is really hard. There's just so much to do. Like even on stage, because you pose in front of a mirror all the time, and then you're on stage and there's no mirror. No. And you're also nervous, and there's so much going on, and there's all the other girls on stage, and then there's 4 judges looking at you, and then all the people in the audience, and sometimes
background music as well.
Oh, yeah. And
did you find it hot on stage?
Yes, I was sweating.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I don't want to ruin my tan.
Yes.
And
and then you start sweating more because you start stressing about the tan.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And
did Deanne do your tan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, her group did my tan, makeup, and hair.
Yeah,
which was good. So it was just the one place, and they were all so nice and lovely. And
Deanne, I'll just tell people, she's an ex-competitor, so she's got her pro card in the WNBF, which I don't even know if the WNBF is still going in Australia, but it might be. But she's got a really good understanding of what the competitors are going through.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So she's good at that, keeping the girls calm when they have their hair and makeup and stuff
She's
done.
really good to talk to. She just makes everything comfortable, and she makes you laugh. And she also knows, like, any question you have for her, she'll answer straight away. She just has an answer for everything, which is so relieving.
Yeah.
And, like, the tan was literally flawless. Like, I was so shocked.
I was really happy with your tan.
Yeah, and how dark it was. And I was nervous about it being orange and all that. And there was no marks. Like, she had a little buffer brush and was getting every little bit and spent ages tanning. And it was really good.
And that's one of the things, like with bikini, like I've had a number of girls, and whether it's their skin or the brand of tan, like the first time you compete, you don't really know if that sort of brand of tan is going to react well on your skin. So you got lucky.
Yeah,
because that doesn't normally happen.
Yeah, it was really like any skin imperfections or blemishes or anything was just gone. Yeah. My skin looked so smooth.
Yeah.
And I was just shocked, because you see in some photos where, like, I was also nervous about the face being white and the body being dark, but she nailed everything. Yeah.
That's why you need a professional to do that, like, part. It's worth it.
Don't do your home tan.
Yeah.
Definitely put the money in.
And how did you find the like budgeting for the show? Because that can be quite daunting. Like, you think it's going to cost one thing and then it ends up blowing out, doesn't it?
Yeah. I know it was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But it also helped to pay, like, I paid my bikini off early. Like, as soon as I started my prep, I emailed them, got the design and everything done, and then was giving a few bits of money to them. And then by the time it came for them to send it out and get the second lot of measurements, it had all been paid already. Yeah. Which was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's probably one thing that really stresses people out, because you want to work less as you get into the depths of your prep, but you've got more costs. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's definitely worth it to be really organised and to pay for things early if you can, because then you don't want to be thinking about paying for things while you're in your last few weeks.
No, it's the worst.
Stressful.
Yeah, way too stressful. Yeah. And with your posing, like, did you end up practicing every day?
I tried to practice every day. Sometimes I just wasn't able to, because I was working full time, trying to get enough sleep and training in the morning and in the afternoon. Yeah. Yeah. And also driving an hour to work and an hour home.
and you said that Connor was posing in his jocks at the gym.
Yes.
How did you feel about practicing in front of everyone? Like, did you kind of start to warm into it and get over it, or block everyone out?
I think I'm still really nervous about doing it in front of a lot of people, because they just stare at you. Yeah. Because some people are like, what is she doing? Like, some people don't know about the competing side of things.
So they just think you're vain and
they're like,
up yourself.
But I was lucky, because there was a gym that Connor and I were going to in Woonona, and it's like an old RSL gym, but they have a downstairs area with a big mirror, and no one's ever down there. So I used to just go down there by myself and just do my posing. Yeah. Yeah. But now we're in a gym, which is the athletic culture gym there. And it's a really good gym. There's quite a few people that compete, and it's all young people. There's a few older people, but most of the girls are doing WBFF. And then a few girls are doing their prep right now.
I actually find the WBFF posing really nice, and I've been doing more and more of that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like
and I don't know if you realised at the time but there was elements of the WBFF that we actually put into your posing for IFBB.
Yeah, some of those movements.
Yeah.
And you can do that for IFBB. I've noticed a lot of the girls every girl's different in their posing.
Yeah.
They'll do some different hand movements, some different
hair movements.
Yeah, definitely.
And so do you feel like you've got more confidence now for the next show that we can jazz up your posing even more?
Yeah,
and make it a little bit more complicated?
Yeah, because I know what to expect now. I've already experienced it. And I know the second time I went on stage for the novice class, I was a lot more confident as well.
It only takes like one time out there to get rid of the nerves, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But that first time is just, pretty nerve-wracking.
Definitely. And we were lucky that we did, because when you told me to do the 2 different times of the posing, because they did end up
I've
cutting
broken
it short.
that down to 3 now.
Yeah.
I've got a fast version, medium version, and then a really long version.
Yeah, because I know in the first class, you can see on my video, in the juniors class, that they cut it off, and I was like,
I know.
Oh.
Last
and then I
minute.
was trying to get off.
Yep.
And I was so nervous, and I was like, oh my God.
But that happened to everyone. But in the moment, like on the day, you don't realise that it's happened to everyone else.
No, you only
You
think
just
about
think
you.
that you've stuffed up.
And then you're so embarrassed.
Yeah, because you don't get to finish the choreography of the little eye walk.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So
I think you just did, because I think we'd worked out, you'd come out, you'd do a front pose, you'd walk to the front of the stage, front pose, back pose, then turn back to the front, acknowledge you finished and walk off. And they cut it down to a front pose.
Yeah, it was halfway through the back pose.
Yeah, and they said next
And I was
competitor.
like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you do? I can't remember. Did you quickly turn around or did you walk off?
I think I was on the back leg.
Yeah.
And then I was going to turn back to do the back pose. But then I ended up like just putting my hand up and walking off.
Yeah.
I know.
Devo.
I was
Because
so
your last
disappointed.
pose is really nice.
Yeah.
But you have to be ready for that, because if the competition is running behind schedule, they will cut the poses down. So you have to be ready and prepared for that. But in saying that, on the day when they actually call the next competitor, you do have a little bit of time to get back around and put your hand up and finish properly whilst the other girl is walking out to that middle spot.
Yeah.
But, when you're in the moment, you sort of, it throws you and you feel like you have to get off straight away.
Yeah, your mind goes blank.
Yeah.
You just forget.
Yeah.
But you definitely have to just nail those poses, the ones that you feel like make yourself look the best, and you nail them and make sure you have them ready and get them out first.
What did you think about the girls like posing and getting ready backstage? Did that stress you out, like watching them, or did you try not to pay attention?
I think a few of the girls are a bit standoffish and they stared a lot. But I'm like, they're in the same boat as I am.
Yeah.
And like I found myself looking a bit too, just like checking out their bodies. And you just can't help it.
No,
but
that's
you can't
right.
take it personally either, because you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah. And like we had this conversation as well. I said like backstage can be very intimidating for a first-time competitor, because exactly the things that you just described then.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember that a lot of people they come across as standoffish, but they're actually terrified.
Yeah.
And they've gone into their own little world and they don't want to talk to anyone because they're so nervous.
Yeah. And I know I went there and like all the girls had their own bands and weights and all their special stuff. And I was like, I didn't bring anything. And I didn't even pump up at all.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't do that. I'm like, why do I need to? What's it going to achieve? It's not it's not men's bodybuilding.
No, and I had some of my girls pumping up, but your physique, the way it was, didn't need puffing up.
Yeah.
Like you didn't need to do that.
I think.
Yeah, you were. I mean, you won it. So I was quite happy with the non-pumping up thing. But some of the girls, when they get to the show, it takes a little while for them to sort of fill out and they can look a little bit scrawny. So you will see some girls for bikini, they might pump up and other girls not. One of the requirements for the bikini division is not to have striations in the legs.
Yeah.
So I've had one girl and she just gets so lean genetically that she ends up with all these cuts in her legs. So we actually train legs the day before the show to increase the inflammation so it smooths them over. So, everyone's different, and you can't, stress out if someone's doing something differently to you backstage.
Yeah, and everyone's different as well. It works differently for everyone's body. You can't do what the other person's doing and expect it to work the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think we've covered everything. Sophia, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to working with you again for the next prep. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be so exciting.
You were actually saying before that you were thinking of doing the all-female.
Yes.
All-female.
Classic.
It used to be called the Amanda Doherty All-Female Classic, but I think it's just the IFBB Pro League All-Female Classic, which is mid-year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what attracted you to that show?
Just because it's a really big one and it's all females, and it's just a whole different experience as well.
And I'll tell everyone as well, it's all-female judging panel,
Yeah.
apart from Michael, the head
Of
judge.
course, Michael's always there.
Yeah, but most of the judges are actually female as well, which I think it's lots of fun.
Definitely. I think it's, a lot better because guys are better at judging guys, I feel, and girls are better at judging girls.
I think so too. I think that's definitely.
Because sometimes, I feel like the men would look at you differently.
Yes.
And not mean to, but it's just natural.
Yep.
And then the women would just be looking hard at you, and they know what they've done. They've competed already. They're all pros.
I think the girls are harsher on the girls.
Yeah, I feel like that
which is kind of a good thing because it brings out the best in you as well.
Yeah, you want them to be hard on you so you know what to do.
Yes.
I don't want them saying, "Oh, you look really good." Blah, blah. I want them to say you need
Brutal.
to increase. You need to increase your upper body. You need to get leaner.
Yeah, because that's how you're going to improve.
Definitely.
And I was also suggesting that you think about doing the Bendigo show as well because it's around about the same time.
Yeah.
It's a smaller show, more intimate, but really well run. Scott Goebel from Melbourne usually puts that one together, and it's just it's a really good, fun show to do, and practice your stage presentation and things like that. So
it'd be something to consider.
That's it. Yeah. So we're going to go for the all-female, and then we'll have a look at the budget and see if the Bendigo one's on the cards as well.
Budget.
Because you have to budget, don't you? You have to make sure there's...
It's an expensive sport. If you're not sponsored and don't get supplements and food and all that, it's so expensive.
It is, yeah. I did the numbers for one of my shows once and nearly threw up. It was awful. Yeah, it was bad. It's expensive.
So
but you know what? If you're doing what you love as well, you'll find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even... the money's not a focus. The comp's a focus.
Yes. Yeah, you'll make it work no matter what.
Exactly.
Sophia, if people want to get in contact you or follow you on Instagram, what's your Instagram name?
My Instagram is sophia.hayes1.
Awesome. So make sure you jump on and follow Soph, especially as she starts to prep for her next shows. And if you'd like to find out more information about my coaching or my posing, visit myposingcoach.com or on Instagram @myposingcoach. Thanks for listening. Bye.